It's Pantera right here on your classic metal show with Cemetery Gates. Haven't played that one in a long time.
No, it's been a while.
Yeah. Just listening to Phil's voice from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So different.
Yeah, he doesn't like that anymore now, does he?
Yeah, he's got a very it was just so high. He had such a high pitched voice back in the day, and it's not quite that high pitched anymore.
Well, I guess that's what you get when every band you do is growling at this point.
Yeah, exactly. But listening back to those old the earlier Pantera records, it's just interesting to listen to the progression compared to what Phil sounds like now back then, and that's the other thing, Phil has always been, kind of an aggressive singer.
Sure.
But I don't think I've ever seen any, what do you want to call, criticisms online that Phil doesn't hit the high notes anymore.
No, not really. I mean, people know that's just what Phil is now. But there are people, though, that still wish that he would go back and do a fucking, like the first album or even the pre-Cowboys stuff. There are still people out there still wishing that he would go back and do that.
Well, I mean, that hard yet melodic thing that they did earlier in the Pantera days, there is a certain element about that you just like, I wonder if Phil could actually pull off a more melodic tune these days.
I don't think he could now. I don't think he has that voice left at all. I think way too much pot and way too much drinking and drugging and everything else that he's done.
Those kind of things take a toll on your voice?
Well, so I've heard.
Okay.
Dude, you want to hear something that'll surprise the shit out of you?
What's that?
Or, well, maybe not you, but everybody else. Nobody's surprised it's coming from me, not you. So I watched, I would say, a good 45 minutes of Don Dawkins' performance last night.
Where were they playing?
Just Don. It was a solo.
Oh, yeah, that was last week in Texas?
Was it in last week? I thought it was last night. It was last night.
It could have been last night. I don't know. I know that he had a couple of solo shows scheduled, but I don't know exactly when and where.
Wherever Angie Dokken is.
She's down in Louisiana.
Well, that's where he was.
Okay.
He was, because it was her Periscope or Facebook Live or something I was watching.
All right.
He sounded excellent.
Well, here's the thing. And people go, oh, you're just defending him. I hear this all the time. But when I was in South Dakota, when they were doing the warm-up shows, well, they did a warm-up show prior to the big show on Friday. They did like 7 songs.
Right.
He sounded absolutely fantastic.
Well, I believe it.
Absolutely fantastic. Friday came and they did the big show, the big one-off show here in the U.S. before they headed to Japan.
Right.
It just went to shit because he blew his voice out the night before. Because he was really trying too hard.
Right.
And he strained his voice, and so it became very raspy again. But when he's had good rest and he's not pushing too hard, he can hit some of those notes again.
Well, he was hit. God, listen to me stuttering like a little girl. I was watching and I caught it right when he started, and he started with Into the Fire.
Yeah.
And what was funny is I was expecting it to be horrific, which is honestly why I kept watching, because he was sitting there, and I don't know what was going on or whatever, but I could tell he was pissed. As somebody that's worked with him for a while,
yeah.
And you know this too. There's a thing with Don when you just know that he's fucking.
You could the irritation.
Yeah, and he had 3 Jack and Cokes on the table, and he was trying to get tuned in.
Yeah,
and it just wasn't happening.
Sure.
So he was sucking down those drinks, and he drank 2 of them in like a minute and a half.
Okay.
Just complete. gone. And I was like, oh boy, is this going to be a fucking train wreck? I got to watch.
Okay.
You know, and then he started singing and absolutely kicked ass.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, he's hitting all the high notes, and he did. He hit all of the high notes.
Well, I'm telling you, on that rehearsal, that closed session was invite only.
Yeah.
They kicked ass that night. And when I was on the radio with Ron the following day,
right,
and I said that he sounded like Dawn of old,
right.
I wasn't just kissing ass. He really did. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
But the next night, not so much.
Garbage.
Yeah, not so much.
Yeah. Well, last night he was definitely on. I didn't watch all of it. I watched probably, I don't know, I threw it to my TV and I watched a good 45 minutes, I would say.
So she periscoped for 45 minutes?
Oh, I'm sure she did the whole thing.
Nice.
I'm sure she did the whole thing, and then, boy, she couldn't have been more proud to fucking show that picture that she finally got to meet her hero, Don Dokken.
Oh, boy.
Mm-hmm. She was like, look at this picture of me with Don Dokken.
Yeah, well, that's how it goes.
She's met all the big names in the last 2 weeks. That one and Rick Springfield.
Wow.
Holy shit! That we just fucking meet people.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know. Well, speaking of Rick Springfield...
Yes.
That goes back to that documentary.
Okay.
Remember watching that about a year or so ago?
Yeah, yeah.
I still can't get over that.
What specifically can't you get over?
About those housewives who pack up for days at a time and chase them all over the country and all kinds of stuff.
Dude, there's a couple of those guys that are out there that people just fucking run around after.
I know.
He's one of them. Tom Jones. Tom Jones, he's almost unrecognizable at this point.
I know. He doesn't look anything like he did,
even 10 years ago.
You're right.
He looks, it's like these guys all do the plastic surgery to keep looking the way that they want to look.
Yeah, and then they get dysmorphia.
Yeah, like they melt.
Yeah.
It's like they've had so much plastic on their face that they got next to a hot lamp or something. It's just like, just stretches down their fucking face.
Sure.
They look horrendous because then they'll have like one like cheek, or they'll have like those cheek implants or something.
Uh-huh.
So you got this saggy ass face that's real tight in certain spots, and then looks like a fucking turkey neck on the other. Just fucking awful.
Right.
Just bad. But yeah. Anyway, you were saying Rick Springfield.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that documentary the other day because
Sure.
I think one of his songs were on the radio or something. My guy that I work with, he plays commercial radio in the office.
Sorry to hear that.
I know. And he was just like, what station do you listen to, dude? I said, I only listen to my station, man. Don't listen to commercial radio.
He's like, what?
Yeah. Well, see, he's one of those guys who doesn't know that there's anything other than commercial radio.
Dude, you're missing out, man. You're missing Bob and Jill on the Loop.
Yeah, you're missing out on Doug and Amy or something.
Dude, how can you? It's Phil and Weasel in the mornings. How can you not be listening to Phil and Weasel?
Right.
Dude, didn't you hear what Weasel said this morning? He made that joke about the traffic.
Right.
Remember? Oh, you didn't hear that, dude?
What's really?
Where are you living?
Yeah. What's funny is that he likes to listen to this segment that this radio station does every morning. It has something about. It's not love lines, but it's about people who went out on a date.
Okay.
And then the person, whomever it is that they went out with, wouldn't call them back, or like they went out and supposedly had a great time, and then they tried to call or hook up another date or two with that person, and that person wouldn't return their call.
Oh boy.
So then the radio station calls the person and but see, I had to explain the workings of how all this works, because they go, hey, you're live on the air.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, they're not live on the air. They pre-recorded this yesterday or 2 days ago.
Yeah.
No, dude, they call these people live.
No, they don't, dickhead, because that would be illegal.
Yeah, I know. But then they go, you're live on the air. You know, I just need to let you know that. So before we continue this conversation, you need to understand that we're live. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, you're not.
Yeah, thanks.
Then, of course, there's, people who do use swear words and stuff. Of course, there's the strategically placed beeps.
Yeah, where they might not even swear.
Yeah.
We used to do that one, where even if they didn't swear, I would just throw beeps in.
Yeah, because it sounds edgy.
Yeah, gotta be raw.
Exactly. So yeah, he likes to listen to that segment in the morning where,
Jesus.
I went out with this chick and we had a great time, and then I called her and I couldn't get a hold of her, and then I'm texting her and she hasn't returned my text, and I don't know what happened. I thought we had good chemistry and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, so now if you're listening to this story and you've got a story of your own, give us a call at 219.
Yeah, exactly.
Loop.
Exactly.
Tell us your story.
Exactly. And so then they call the chick and say, hey, we got so-and-so on the line with us, and he said you two went out. Is that true? Yeah, we went out. Well, what happened? Well, he was a nice enough guy and everything, but, I have a boyfriend and,
Well, Amy, I just got to tell you, here at the Loop, we want to give this chance at romance one more chance.
Right.
How about if we pay for your next date with Bill?
The thing is, it was just a one-off thing. I just wanted to see what I was missing out there, and he just happened to be the lucky stud, and, I realized that I really love my boyfriend, and I'm sorry about that, dude. I couldn't take your call because my boyfriend was right in the room.
Well, Amy, would it help if we sweeten the pot with dinner for two at the Sizzler? Radio.
I know. So I had to explain to him how all that works. I was just like, he goes, dude, they call these people live on the air and put them on the spot.
How old is this guy? 10?
No, he's like 48.
48?
Well, again, these are people that don't listen to anything outside of commercial radio.
Good God, man. How do you stand this guy?
Well, see, here's the thing. Most people who don't listen to us, they don't really know that there's anything outside of. I mean, we'll tell it how it is. We'll tell you exactly how it works.
Sure.
And I had to explain. I said, dude, this is just all a setup.
Yeah.
I said, why would you even listen if it wasn't exciting enough for you to listen to? I mean, because they're not going to. They have to go through 3 or 4 of these to finally get one that's worthwhile listening to.
Right.
Because most people are a snore fest.
Right.
So they have to screen out 3 or 4 of these and go, okay, that one was pretty good. Let's use that one tomorrow.
And you might want to point out to your friend there, you might want to say, dude, isn't it amazing how they always fit it right into the same 8 minutes from commercial to commercial? That is something, how the calls automatically go right there in the 8 minutes.
It's edited down just perfectly right between the commercial slots.
I mean, it's live. It's live exactly for 8 minutes.
Exactly. It's funny. But until you get on this side of the mic,
right?
Most people really are oblivious.
Yeah, I guess.
They are.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be the first one to admit I was for a while until I started doing it.
They create that illusion.
I remember one time I was listening to fucking stupid Rover's Morning Glory.
I tolerated that for 2 full shows, and I was just, I can't take this anymore. 2 shows. That show was terrible.
It's not real good. But unless you're in Cleveland, in which case you'll think it's the greatest show ever. For whatever reason, it's still number 1. But I was in the production studio at 92.3, and I was waiting on an interview, and we had an intercom thing on.
Uh-huh.
I could hear what they were doing on the air, and they were railing against the program director, our program director Kim.
Okay.
And then they went into Kim's office with a sledgehammer and started smashing her desk up and shit.
Okay.
And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? So I walked out the fucking hallway, walked down the hall, looked in the window of the studio. They were playing audio of fucking destroying of like it was audio.
They were going in there smashing shit, but it was just they were just playing a soundtrack.
It was just a sound bite. It was a sound piece, and them sitting like this.
Yeah.
And take that, you bitch!
It's crash, bang.
Yeah, and them just yelling off microphone. It was the dumbest fucking thing ever, and I was like, these guys are a fucking joke.
It's the theater of the air, man.
Sure. Yeah, those guys. I mean, the girl Doogie, I always got along great with her. She was so nice to me, and always probably still would be if I run into her somewhere, but she was super nice, but the rest of that show can fucking drink a gallon of gasoline and smoke cigars all night. Fucking fags. Hated Rover, and I hated Dieter.
You know, if those guys are, on the verge, you could just push them over the edge with talk like that.
Well, I will say I doubt that those guys are fucking faggy lefties. I very much doubt that. They don't see the part. That's the only good redeeming quality those two had.
Faggy lefties.
Oh, well, that's what they are. Faggy lefties.
Yep.
Play that clip of that girl again.
Oh, the girl screaming?
Yeah, that's my favorite clip of all time now.
A joke. I do not believe this is happening. I'm literally about to fucking kill myself, and I'm not kidding. You better fucking fix this shit right now. I literally am gonna die. I need an ambulance.
I hear that. I'm literally gonna die if Rover doesn't stop it. Fucking bitch. I hope she actually did kill herself.
Yeah. Again, would the world be, at a loss because we lost that one?
I don't think Mom's crying would last to the second hour with that one.
No.
The mom would cry for the first hour and then be like, all right, I guess this ain't so bad. At least it's fucking quiet in here now.
Sure.
Pack up her bullshit, take down that Hillary Clinton poster, and let's move on.
Right.
See if we can't rent the room by the weekend.
Her mother is only crying because she raised a failure. I mean, that's it.
If she committed suicide, at least she completed something.
Exactly.
Ugh.
At least you followed through on something.
If that was your kid and you saw that video and it started going viral as it has, what would you think as a parent?
I would think I would have that child committed. I mean, really, because there's nothing rational or sane about that in the least.
How old do you think that kid is?
She's in her 20s.
Jeez, oh man.
I would say that she's probably in her early 20s.
That's just sad. That's really just sad.
You need to fix this shit.
Yeah.
Fix it.
All right. Well, why don't you fix your ass out of Mom's basement?
Right.
Because it's doubtful you're going anywhere else.
It has to be a joke. I do not believe this is happening. I'm literally about to fucking kill myself, and I'm not kidding. You better fucking fix this shit right now. I literally am gonna die. I need an ambulance.
I hear.
Need to fix this shit right now.
And I'm not kidding.
I'm not kidding.
I'm not kidding.
I need to get my way or else. I need my own way.
Yeah.
I really can't.
Yeah, you just get to the point where you just fucking hate people.
Yeah, I just got to stay away from everybody. Seriously.
Well, I try to as much as I can.